女26岁，1983年6月，伙同蒋庆强、吴艳琴、王金龙、赵腾，在王金龙、徐伟峰住处共同进行流氓犯罪活动，以流氓罪判处无限化死刑剥夺政治权利。
In September 1983, the CCP launched a crackdown on criminal offenses that lasted for more than 3 years. Following the devastation of the Cultural Revolution, China was in dire need of revitalization. By 1979, the number of unemployed people in urban areas had surpassed 20 million. In 1980, after the end of the 25-year campaign to send intellectuals to the countryside, a large number of these intellectuals returned to the cities, worsening the employment situation and further deteriorating social security. To stabilize the social situation, the CCP planned a concentrated campaign against criminal offenses, making it a political priority. In November 1979, Peng Zhen called for public security, procuradorates, and courts to jointly handle cases under the CCP's leadership. By May 19, 1981, at a public security symposium, the CCP formally introduced a policy of cracking down on criminal offenses in accordance with the law. In July 1983, Deng Xiaoping, speaking in Beidaihe, emphasized the need to severely crack down on serious criminal offenses, advocating for swift sentencing and executions. On August 25, 1983, the CCP issued the decision on cracking down on criminal activities, which called for 3 campaigns over 3 years aimed at arresting a large number of offenders, sentencing many to prison terms, re-educating many through labor, canceling urban household registrations, and executing criminals whose deaths would not suffice for the common people's anger. On the same day, the People's Daily published Deng Xiaoping's key points: those who could be arrested but were not should be arrested, and those who could be executed but were not should be executed. This marked the official start of the Strike Hard campaign. In September 1983, the CCP's National People's Congress disregarded the criminal appeals law, which was already in force, and issued 2 consecutive decisions allowing for a dozen or so crimes, such as hooliganism, to be punished with penalties exceeding the maximum prescribed in the criminal law, up to and including the death penalty. Additionally, the appeal period for the death penalty was shortened from 10 days to 3 days, with the authority to impose the death penalty delegated to basic courts, effectively abolishing the right to legal defense. The CCP's crackdown campaign quickly spiraled out of control, operating without legal restraint and leading to widespread and indiscriminate killings of innocents. Minor offenses, such as street fights, petty theft, and small-scale trading, typically punishable by public security regulations, were harshly punished under the campaign, with many individuals being sentenced to death for hooliganism. For example, Ma Yanqin, a single woman from Xi'an, was arrested for organizing a dance party, leading to the arrest of over 300 participants. 3 of these participants, including Ma Yanqin, were executed by firing squad, while others received suspended death sentences, life imprisonment, or fixed-term imprisonment. Niu Yuqiang, a 20-year-old from Beijing, was sentenced to death for hooliganism after snatching a hat and getting into a fight. In other cases, a young man was sentenced to death for taking revealing photos of his girlfriend. A young worker was sentenced to death for peeping into a women's toilet, and another young man was convicted of active hooliganism and sent to Xinjiang for urinating on the side of the road. Even those who had already served their sentences were retried and sentenced to death, according to the campaign's harsher standards. According to data released by the CCP, during the more than 3 years of the Strike Hard campaign, 1.77 million people were arrested, 1.75 million were sentenced, and 24,000 were executed.